So, Leprechaun Returns. I bought the 8 film DVD collection. It was only $10. I watched all 7 of the other movies on Peacock a few years ago, and now I'm watching the final one as of right now. They got a new actor to play him. He does pretty good. I do like him, but Warwick Davis, man, he's really hard to forget. He did an amazing job as the Leprechaun, so it's weird to see somebody else in the role. But he grew on me as the movie went on and on. He actually has some pretty funny jokes in this movie. A lot of them, though, are a bit too sexual for my liking, and some of them aren't very good. There's a joke about Crocs. I don't get the hate for Crocs. I've only learned about that stuff recently, so it was a bit jarring to see it in this movie. That's almost 10 years old. It's 7 years old already. But yeah, he's going through some shoes and fixing them up because one of the girls that he was fighting with threw shoes at him, and he gets mad that they're not like put up neatly because he's got a bit of a shoe fetish, and he decides to put them back up where they were. And when he finds Crocs, he's like, "Oh, these suck," and then throws them away. That's not exactly what he says. I'm kind of paraphrasing, but he did not like the Crocs. This movie is a direct sequel to the original, ignoring the other 5 movies and the remake. I think it would actually be 4 movies in the remake. Yeah, anyways. The Leprechaun has some amazing kills in this movie. And of course, he's a little shit. He's got, this scene where he kills this one girl that he supposedly made a truce with. And the truce was that he wouldn't lay a hand on her, so of course he uses magic or his leprechaun powers or whatever to kill her instead. The only kill that I thought was dumb, but still a good kill, was this guy Matt dies because the leprechaun starts controlling a drone. He knows the leprechaun's controlling the drone. He doesn't try to run away at all. In fact, he backs himself up against a tree, and of course, he gets decapitated. He's just like, no, 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 and then gets decapitated. What a fucking idiot. I'm sorry, what a fucking idiot. And they were framing him as a little bit of a love interest for the main character. Yet when she ends up finding him, she doesn't even have that big of a reaction to it. I mean, she does stay a few seconds longer than the others and looks at his dead body, but then she just keeps going. This movie has a lot of meta jokes that I didn't think were that funny. Like when the main character gives this powerful speech and then she walks in another direction and then she's like, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that. We need to go this way. I just thought it was right to do that." And, then like one of the characters get injured and they start walking off, but then they're like, "Oh, I'm bleeding. We should probably go and get in that guy's car and drive off and get medical attention." But there was a lot of stuff I found funny, and there was a lot of stuff I didn't. It was a mix of the two. So I didn't think it was that bad. Ozzy returns, who was in the original, but he dies 14 minutes in, unfortunately. He has, very little screen time. I mean, he comes back as, a dead ghost or whatever. But, yeah, he shows up, talks to a girl, says he'll give her a ride. She doesn't trust him at first. Then she looks up a taxi service and she calls it and he answers. So she goes with him. They talk for a little bit. He drops her off at her house. He loses his phone. We cut to him in his truck realizing he lost his phone. He goes back to get his phone. The leprechaun infects him and kills him. And that's it for Ozzy. That is his whole little story. We get 3 scenes of him, dead though, with increasingly disgusting makeup with, maggots coming out of his mouth and him getting worse and worse and worse as he goes on, which is pretty cool, but a little cliche and a bit odd since horror movies usually do it with characters that they've killed off before. They killed this famous actor that fans loved in the series. So in the next movie, they bring them back as a dead person. That's a very typical thing in movies. Take Billy Loomis, for example. People love Skeet Ulrich. People love Billy Loomis. But they killed him in the first movie, so they can't necessarily bring him back. So in Scream 5 and 6, they brought him back as like a hallucination for the main character. So it's weird for them to kill him off in this movie and then him just be a hallucination for the main character. Like, she didn't even really know him that well. They don't really explain why he's doing that either. This movie doesn't have that interesting of a plot to go over. It's this daughter of Tori Redding from the original, and she moves into the house from the original, and she's there with a few other girls. Katie, who's decently nice but obsessed with her ex. Andy, who treats her like crap. There's another girl that I forget her name of, and the other girl I forget her name of. One of them's really eco-friendly and is setting up solar panels on the roof and trying to get the well set up. And another girl's a drunk and mean to everybody. And then there's the two guy characters. Then there's also a mailman that gets killed. And for some reason, the leprechaun kills him in a big car. I don't know how he would reach the pedals. Maybe he's using his magic to push the pedals. I mean, they made, in the original movie that they're spinning off of, you know, he drives a small car. So why didn't they just have him do that in this movie? This movie's still a horror comedy like the other ones. I don't know why they had him drive an actual larger car in this movie. Yeah, it's a decent movie. I enjoyed it. But there just isn't really that much to talk about. It's only an hour and 32 minutes. The kills are probably the best part of it. It wasn't exactly boring, but there just isn't that much to talk about. We do get some more lore for the leprechaun. Like, apparently he can turn into like smaller versions of himself, and he starts fucking with the girl before he kills her. I found it very odd, though, that, you know, obviously, for plot reasons, this was what happened. But apparently, he was killed 25 years ago and hasn't returned since the first movie, because they're not counting any of the sequels or the remake. Yet, when he gets killed in this movie, he almost immediately starts to regenerate. Like, it took you 25 years to regenerate, but now you are regenerating in like a few seconds. Okay. They end up killing him by stuffing a tube in his mouth and pumping him full of something and then setting the house on fire. But the movie implies, because his hat survived, that he's still alive. That's crazy to me. We don't see a hand or something that didn't get destroyed. We just see his hat, and then the movie shows that at the end of the movie he's hitchhiking. This movie never got a sequel, so it's just like a typical horror thing where, you know, if they ever wanted to make a sequel, they showed that the character is still alive. And yeah, that is Leprechaun Returns.